Happy Friday, everyone. We're back on the balcony again. And today's topic is a guide for first-time home sellers here in Vancouver, and I guess anywhere really. All these aspects are going to be the same, generally in my opinion, for all sellers. But this is a little insight into first-time home selling. There's an abundance of information out there about first-time home buying, but of course, focusing on the sellers with this blog, we are looking at first-time home selling today. So obviously extremely different from the buying process, almost the exact opposite. Obviously you're in different shoes, the opposite shoes when doing so, but the prep work and all this sort of stuff is substantially different than the purchasing process. So I've had a lot of questions when it comes to first-time home sellers and what to expect and how do we structure things and what needs to be done. So as much work goes into it, I would suggest as first-time home buyers, you're just looking at the business, if you will, from the other side of the coin. So to start it off here, how much will I need to do? You as a seller, this could be a huge variety of things or a short list of things. It really depends on what your agent's opinion is of the presentation of the property, how you live. Does it need decluttering? Does it need staging? Does it just need detailing and styling? All the work that the agent is going to do by way of collecting all the media, depending on what your agent does for marketing and advertising. That could be a little or a lot. But it's not really a generally answered question, what will you need to do, in the sense of it really, to get the legwork done in doing the process, it's really going to be agent specific. Some will just say your place is fine, it'll show fine, let's take photos and do the stuff and we're done. And others will say, no, I think we need to detail this around, I think we need to change this room around. If there's some repairs to be done, I suggest doing them first. All these sorts of things. So there's a little bit of a laundry list there of what could be done, and depending on the agent, they are or aren't going to highlight what they may believe is important and go from there. How much is my property worth? A lot of the time, the agents, when you're sitting down with them, they're going to give you a listing presentation which highlights what they suggest doing marketing-wise, what they do, I should say, marketing-wise, how they suggest access of the unit. Are we going to do public opens, agent opens? Are we just going to do by appointment only? Additionally, they are going to suggest what they believe it's worth and justify that with showing you the comparable active listings that you're going to be competing against and comparable solds that have recently sold. So what is your property worth? They're going to paint a picture. We give a range, and that's really going to be justified by the numbers and by the comparables they show you. And what this is going to do is pick not the sales price, because at the end of the day we can guess, but no one has a crystal ball, of course, on who's shopping when you decide to go to market and what they're willing to pay. But more so picking a price that is going to attract the type of attention that you're going to want to attract. If you list sharply, are you going to kind of be in line with the expectations of the market based on the comparables and generate attention that way? Are you going to list under where you can see the justifiable market is to try and generate more attention that way, in efforts, of course, to sell above that price? Or are you going to list a little bit higher than the market and assume that you've got a little bit of wiggle room to come down to market value, assuming that the market's going to want to negotiate with you? So what's your property worth? This is kind of a loaded question, and I think the best answer is just that the agents are going to pick the best entry point price-wise to the market, and in order to generate the sort of attention that you're going to get, not necessarily try and forecast what number exact selling price you're going to get. How quickly will offers come in? If you list it properly, in our opinion, we like to list things very sharply where we can justify the market being. You should get offers quickly, depending on the climate of the market. Always, if it's a climbing market, then depending where you go and what we've seen in the past handful of years, almost with any sort of remote justification, you're going to get a lot of attention. If you're remotely near a realistic price, based on the comparables, and if the market's a little bit slower, you're going to want to pick something that's a lot sharper or substantially below market value in order to bring the attention in, draw the attention in, and be attractively priced so you get that activity you're looking for. So again, loaded question. it could take weeks, it could take days, it could take hours. It just really depends on your pricing strategy and how you bring that attention in. What happens if offers are slow to come in? Patience is key. With this sort of thing, if you pick a strategy with your agent, they're going to tell you very quickly, I believe you're too high, and you're gonna diminish the amount of attention we get. But if this is a number you need to try, then just don't have the expectations that you're going to sell multiple offers in a number of hours. If you're higher, you're going to need to assume a longer time on market, and likewise if you're lower, the opposite. What happens if offers are quick to come in and slow to come in? Of course, the exact opposite, but always, again, you're picking an agent that you have faith in and trust in, that they know what they're doing, so you're listening to their 2 cents on where you should position yourself to have the best outcome at the end of the day. Do I have to accept an offer? Definitely not. You never have to sell your home. No matter what you get, whatever pricing strategy you work with, see it through with your agent, and no, you never have to, simply you never have to sell. If you don't get what you want, again, have this talk with your agent first. There are some contractual obligations possibly, but the short answer is no, you never have to sell your property if you don't get the offer you are looking for by way of price or structure or anything like that. How will the sale of my home affect the purchase of my new home? This one's a little more technical in the sense that if you're buying and selling in the same market, your money essentially is worth the same thing. So if I sell today and I'm going to start looking tomorrow for a purchase, the less time between those two transactions, the sell then the buy, the less time between them, the more similar my money is going to, my buying power is going to be, depending which way the market's going. If the market's going up, of course you want to get in as soon as possible because it's going to be more expensive tomorrow. And if the market's going down, you may want to sell and wait with the anticipation that it's going to be cheaper tomorrow. So there's then the argument against picking the market. Am I picking the top of the market? Am I picking the bottom of the market? And there's any variety of ways to look at the gamble of buying and selling at any certain time. But just know that obviously your buying power, the closer your two transactions are, selling and buying, the most similar, of course, your buying power will be. Additionally to that, if you're buying a similar product, if the pricing is moving up, I have 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom and I sell it for $1 million, that's going to be the new benchmark. So you could be competing against yourself if you're just looking for a newer 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom. Your older one is now going to be the benchmark, and obviously you've got to anticipate a lift from there. On the other side of the coin, if you're selling in Vancouver and leaving, I'm going to Coquitlam or Squamish or wherever you want to go outside to get a little bit more leverage on that dollar and a bit more buying power. Of course, you've got that full equation going on to suggested to, of course, find an agent that specializes in the new market and find the climate of that market out and see what sort of speed or time you can really give that purchase for the transaction. So a lot to discuss. I'm going to cut it there. The goal for us, and I think most agents in general, is to try and clarify this process for you first-time sellers before the ball gets rolling. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Always ask what's on your mind. Make a list of questions before you're interviewing your agents on all aspects of this. And if you have any further questions for us, jay@McInnesmarketing.com, 604-771-4606. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for your attention, and we will see you soon.